It all starts at Qingtang Academy, a seemingly normal place for students. But inside, Lin Yu finds himself cornered by some students and demands they give back his sister's medicine. Clearly annoyed, the boy threatens to make the bully regret it if he doesn't return the vial. The aggressor, named Zhang Yang, just laughs at the situation and mocks that a loser with a vitality score of 0.62 should never try to act tough. Always mocking the MC, he questions how someone with zero talent even managed to get into that academy if it weren't for his genius sister. With the vials in hand, the bully teases him, asking if he really wants them back. Without a single drop of empathy, he simply drops the glass vials to the floor. Lin Yu despairs and yells for him to stop while throwing himself to try and catch his sister's cure. However, the effort is useless, and the vials shatter completely on the classroom floor. Faced with his only hope destroyed right in front of him, the boy freezes completely. At that moment, Zhang Yang aggressively grabs the MC by the collar. With extreme force, the bully violently throws Lin Yu against the locker wall, standing arrogantly over the fallen boy. He claims that trash belongs in the garbage. Soon, one of his goons warns him that the teacher is coming to the room, forcing the aggressor to back off immediately. Turning his back to leave, Zhang Yang reaffirms his cruelty, saying the loser should stay with the rest of the trash. Lying on the floor among the broken glass, Lin Yu realizes that was the nutrient solution keeping his sister healthy, and now his only option is to work overtime to afford a new one. Resentment takes over him, mentally swearing to make Zhang Yang pay for that cruelty. Suddenly, a hand reaches out toward the MC to help him up. A pink-haired girl named Lin Xin appears and asks with concern if he is okay, trying to hide the pain. He thanks her for the help, and the young girl suggests they walk home together. Their conversation is interrupted by a furious boss yelling from afar, demanding to know why Lin Yu is late for his shift. Desperate to keep his job, the MC lets him know he is on his way and sprints down the hallway. The girl stays behind in silence, simply watching her classmate rush off. Truth is, that world changed in the year 4832 when a cataclysm hit the planet and corruption descended upon Earth. During this crisis, humanity's physical bodies began to surpass their limits, developing supernatural abilities and creating warriors who received the utmost respect for defending the front lines. However, in year 1 of the martial era, it was discovered that not even passing away freed beings from this corruption, turning the fallen into mindless monsters driven by a thirst for destruction. Nowadays, the only known method to combat the plague and the reanimated fallen is total incineration. Because of this whole situation, Lin Yu's after-school part-time job is going to the crematorium to incinerate the fallen brought back from the front lines. He puts on his heavy hazmat suit as soon as he arrives at the industrial complex in the late afternoon. The boy knows his sister's nutrient pod subscription is almost up, so he needs to earn 200,000 before the end of the month to keep her going. His family's situation is complicated because his sister is different. Right in her second year, her vitality surpassed 10,000, awakening a super rare psychokinesis talent. Walking down the gloomy hallways of the crematorium, the MC reflects on his own weakness. But on her 17th birthday, the girl fell into an unexplained coma and hasn't woken up since. Lin Yu admits he was born with zero talent and that she always protected him in the past. So now it's his turn to take care of his sister as he approaches the incineration area. Doing the math quickly, he remembers he earns 20,000 for every fallen warrior processed. So by finishing 10 more today, he'll finally have enough money to buy the lost medicine. Wasting no time, the boy fires up the furnace to start purifying the first fallen warrior. As soon as the flames rise, black tendrils of corruption start leaking from the fallen while it is intensely purified. The MC watches the scene closely, knowing that every body brought there carries this infection, and any tiny mistake could turn them into monsters, which justifies the high payout for the gig. Suddenly, a strange movement inside the machine catches his attention. The dark smoke starts acting weirdly and clumping together, making the boy realize this had never happened before. Confused by what he is witnessing, he tries to figure out what that bizarre energy is. In the blink of an eye, the shadowy mass shoots out of the furnace straight at the MC. Startled, he lets out a short yelp as the energy slams directly into his body. To his surprise, instead of pain, an extremely comforting feeling takes over his entire being, and he notices he isn't hurt. The black corruption completely envelops Lin Yu as mysterious figures of warriors start appearing in his vision. A memory that isn't his invades his mind, showing a recruit named Li Yang being asked what he would do after graduation, stating he would definitely join the army. Then, the memory skips forward to the moment Li Yang is congratulated by a commander for becoming a member of the Special Ops Brigade, swearing he won't let his country down. The warrior's exhausting training routine pops up, where he learns that sweating a lot in training is the only way to get hurt less in battle and push past physical limits. The soldier's fierce dedication is crystal clear as he tirelessly practices martial arts in the courtyard. The end of Li Yang's journey happens on a chaotic battlefield, where he charges forward to take down the alien beasts and defend his homeland. A critical strike flashes across the memory screen, marking the exact moment the soldier met his end. Snapping back to reality abruptly, a virtual panel pops up in front of Lin Yu, showing that a soul-absorbing system is loading. The boy is amazed, realizing he just witnessed the past of the fallen warrior he was processing. The interface confirms the system was successfully activated, while a sinister energy starts radiating from a wolf carcass in the background. The monstrous, multi-eyed remains suddenly start twitching on the metal gurney, while processing the screen that keeps loading data. The MC wonders out loud what in the world this mysterious system is. Before he can get any answers, the giant beast fully awakens with a deafening roar. Panic hits Lin Yu, who curses in terror upon noticing that a level 1 alien beast just reanimated, giving the boy no time to think. The monster violently lunges at him. Totally vulnerable, the MC just freezes up, bracing for the worst. The giant beast hits Lin Yu with brute force, knocking him to the crematorium floor. A desperate fight for survival begins, with the boy holding back the monster's jaws so he isn't swallowed whole. At this critical second, the system presents 3 skill options from warrior Li Yang's memory for him to cultivate, demanding an immediate choice. Needing absolutely anything to fight back, he yells out, choosing option letter B, which stands for Basic Military Martial Arts. With a swift motion fueled by the new skill, Lin Yu lands a direct punch on the beast's chest, forcing it back. The virtual screen pops up again to warn him that he must use real combat to increase the proficiency of his newly acquired technique. Infuriated by the counterattack, the monstrous wolf slashes with its claws, shattering the very chains holding it down. Showing off an agility he didn't have before, the boy easily dodges the brutal charge. He lands steadily and slides across the floor, immediately dropping into a flawless combat stance. An unexplained wave of power flows through his muscles, and he notices his vision is now sharp enough to track the monster's every fast move. The creature lunges once more with a wild roar, ready to slice its target. The attack tears through the air and smashes the floor exactly where the MC was standing a second earlier. Escaping out of lethal range, he realizes with relief just how close that strike came to his face. The silhouette of the former soldier overlaps the boy's body as he realizes his reflexes are acting naturally, guided by the military martial arts implanted in his mind. With total confidence in his new ability, Lin Yu pushes his fear aside and bravely charges at the alien beast to start the final showdown. Using his new technique, Lin Yu lands a powerful blow straight to the alien beast's body. The impact violently throws the monster against the floor, wrecking everything around it. Panting, the MC stares at the defeated creature and wonders when exactly he got so strong. Soon, a screen appears revealing that the military technique boosted his physical stamina by 10%, and he is amazed, realizing this soul-absorbing system is a heaven-defying encounter. Looking at his own hands covered in a blue aura, the boy tries to figure out why this happened and suspects it has to do with that spot of light from earlier. At that moment, the interface notifies him that it detected fallen remains nearby and that soul absorption is available. With that, he decides to test the skill again, since the wolf's body is right there. The scene cuts to a metal urn being properly locked. Standing in front of the container, Lin Yu thanks the fallen soldier and wishes for him to rest in peace. Returning to the monster's carcass, he figures that the same light that appeared during the previous processing should show up now. Without hesitating, the boy reaches out and touches the fallen beast's fur. Immediately, a thick dark smoke begins to surround him, leaving the MC confused about what it is. The dark energy violently swirls around his entire body. Clearly affected by this raw force, he feels the shadowy power coursing through his veins. Unable to handle the load, Lin Yu yells in pain as the corruption's tendrils invade his mind. The vision abruptly changes to the chaotic memory of the monster charging through a burning city. Driven by an uncontrollable hunger, the creature attacks people, screaming that it needs to eat. The rampage continues with the pack overwhelming the frontline warriors while demanding more meat. Back to reality, Lin Yu coughs on the crematorium floor and concludes. Those were the memories of the alien when it was active. Breaking into a cold sweat after the bizarre experience, He admits he didn't expect the border soldiers to deal with so many monsters every single day. Then the system screen pops up again, asking him to choose between the claw skill, the devour technique, or chaos awareness. Analyzing the options, the boy understands that the lights released during the burn activate the system, and touching the remains allows him to absorb the soul's memory. Shivering just thinking about it, he rules out the devour technique out of fear he might end up craving people. With his finger on the interface, he chooses the claw skill since he already saw its efficiency in real combat. A burst of dark red energy instantly wraps around his right arm. The power overflows through the room as the mutation takes over his limb. The system confirms the technique can toggle his hand's shape during combat, getting the MC hyped about how awesome that sounds. However, a warning alerts him that the soul-absorbing skill can only be used again in 12 hours, catching him off guard that there's a cooldown time. Sitting on the floor amidst the fading smoke, Lin Yu decides he needs to take a moment to study this carefully. Pointing at the use or absorb button on his martial arts, he recalls the message stating that proficiency improves through practical use. Deep in thought, the boy wonders if absorbing means getting the same skill multiple times to stack power. With no way to confirm that right now, he decides he'll just test it when he gets a chance in the future. Noticing that soul absorption is at level 1, he is shocked to discover that the system itself also has levels. Leaning back against the wall, the MC figures the interface can be upgraded, although there are no clues yet on how to do that. Determined not to waste time, he gets up and focuses on what he can control right now, leaving the upgrades for later. Clenching his fist wrapped in the dark aura, he recognizes the usefulness of the military martial arts and decides to take this moment to train. The former soldier's silhouette aligns with the boy's movements as he mirrors the combat stance. With total focus, Lin Yu throws heavy punches in the air to test his body's fluidity. He moves quickly around the space, realizing the stances get increasingly difficult, basically impossible for average students. Sliding across the floor in a sweep attack, he feels like he's trained this thousands of times thanks to the army's legacy. After finishing the combo sequence, the MC lets out a long sigh to catch his breath. The tension lifts from his shoulders as sweat drips down his neck. Checking out his now more defined physique, he notes this technique is way better than the one taught at school, and that his vitality flows smoother now. Hyped by the immediate results, he gets into a combat stance and gets ready to start all over again. Time skips to the next day inside the classroom, where Lin Yu jolts awake hearing the teacher yell his name. The teacher scolds him harshly, warning that there are only 2 months left until the entrance exams and his awful vitality will only be good for carrying bricks, making the whole class burst into laughter. Showing no shame, the boy calmly stands up and apologizes for dozing off. The bell rings, signaling the end of class, and the teacher walks out sighing, disappointed by her student's lack of effort. Resting his face in his hand, Lin Yu reflects that he got so carried away with last night's training he pulled an all-nighter. Despite his non-stop effort, he feels frustrated remembering his technique's proficiency only went up to 11%. Believing real combat would bring faster results, his thoughts are interrupted by a mocking voice coming from the hallway. The lackey Zhao Lei struts over arrogantly, suggesting the loser drop out of school and take his vegetative sister to beg on the streets. The MC glares at the bully with a look so cold it makes the aggressor instinctively step back, not understanding the reason behind that intimidating aura. Right then, Lin Xin steps into the mess to defend her friend, but is quickly told to mind her own business. Ignoring the taunt, Lin Yu walks right past the lackey and tells the girl to step away so she doesn't catch his stupidity. Watching her classmate walk away, she blushes slightly, noticing he looks much more handsome and has a better physique. Furious at the humiliation, Zhao Lei yells, accusing the MC of being a coward who is all talk and runs away from fights. Stopping in his tracks, Lin Yu shoots him a sharp glare and challenges the bully to a match in the martial arts room since he wants to get beaten up so badly. The lackey laughs confidently, bragging about his 2.7 vitality, and warns that if he breaks the school's trash, he won't be paying any medical bills. Keeping his stance firm, the MC agrees the match will be at their own risk, sealing the showdown between the two. Rumors of the fight spread like wildfire, and several students rush excitedly toward the gym so they don't miss the show. Entering the training hall, the MC finds the group of bullies already waiting for him on the mats. One of the goons hypes Zhao Lei up to end the match with just one punch due to the massive gap in their levels. Taking an aggressive stance, the lackey promises to teach him a lesson on behalf of his boss, and use the boy as a punching bag to test out his special training. Keeping his hands firmly in his pockets, Lin Yu doesn't even change his expression, stating his rival as nothing but a little lapdog who likes to show off. Consumed by rage, the bully charges forward and throws a heavy punch aiming straight for his opponent's face. Up in the bleachers, Lin Shin watches the violent charge in pure despair. In an extremely fluid and effortless motion, the MC blocks the attack by catching Zhao Lei's fist with just one hand. Squeezing his enemy's hand with brute force, he coldly declares he promised to make that entire group regret what they did the day before. The bully's eyes widen in terror, completely shocked that someone with .62 vitality has greater physical strength than him. Taking advantage of the open guard, Lin Yu violently yanks the aggressor's trapped arm to break his posture, giving him no chance to defend. He lands a brutal knee strike straight into the lackey's stomach. Following the initial impact, the MC brings down a crushing punch onto his rival's back to finish the combo. The aggressor cries out in pain as he violently slides across the gym floor. Down on the ground and bleeding, Zhao Lei shakily holds his mouth, realizing he just spat out his own tooth, staring down the defeated bully. The MC coldly warns that if he ever dares to insult his sister again, the punishment won't be just one broken tooth. Message delivered. The boy grabs his backpack and turns his back to leave the gym. On the floor, Zhao Lei grabs a metal pipe with an expression of pure hatred. Driven by rage, the lackey charges his opponent from behind, yelling for him to go rot. The strike comes down with full force, aiming right at the MC's head. Right then, Lin Yu's right arm undergoes a sudden mutation, turning into a giant corrupted claw that easily blocks the weapon and grabs the bully's face all at once. The violent impact slams the aggressor into the ground again, scattering red energy all over the place. With a menacing aura and glowing eyes, the boy asks if his rival still wants to keep fighting. The crowd goes into total shock, with some students questioning where that bizarre claw came from, while Lin Xin comments in awe that nobody needs a weapon with power like that. Completely terrified, Zhao Lei stammers on the floor while watching the MC walk away with his mutant arm still active. Even though he's spooked, the lackey yells from afar that Brother Zhang won't let this humiliation slide. Keeping his cool, Lin Yu walks out of the building and calmly replies that he'll be waiting. Night falls, and the scene shifts to the massive crematorium facility running at full steam. Inside the facility, the MC checks his system and notes with relief that his skill's 12-hour cooldown is up, allowing him to absorb new techniques. Walking through the industrial hallways, he excitedly wonders what gains he'll score today. The peace is short-lived, as a suited manager pops up behind him, calling out his bad manners for not greeting him. The man complains that kids these days have no tact and demands the boy be grateful for getting that job. Shooting a deadpan look back, Lin Yu thinks to himself that the boss only hired him because nobody else wanted the spot, and he's only sticking around because the pay is good. Paying no mind, the manager points to the processing room, announcing a huge batch of the fallen has arrived, and orders him to get to work without slacking. The boy walks silently down the dark corridor toward his station. Arriving in the cold room, he finds several metal gurneys occupied by the bagged bodies of the fallen warriors. Observing the room, the MC worriedly notices that the amount of fallen soldiers arriving there has spiked a lot lately. He recalls the memory he saw the day before, where the front line looked like it was being completely overrun by the alien monsters. This memory makes the boy wonder if the borders are on the verge of collapsing. However, he crosses his arms and tries to brush the thought aside, figuring that if the situation were that critical, the news would have warned the public by now. Determined to focus on what he can control, he concludes that no matter what happens out there, his only option is to boost his own strength as quickly as possible. Stopping in front of a soldier's body, he clasps his hands in a gesture of respect and apologizes for what he's about to do. As soon as he touches the remains, a shadowy smoke of corruption bursts into the air and starts being absorbed by his body, pulling in the aggressive energy. Lin Yu notices the fallen's uniform looks a lot like Li Yang's and hopes to get the military martial arts technique again. The process ends with the boy letting out a long sigh as a bluish aura circles around him. The system screen pops up right away, offering 3 skill options extracted from the soldier's memory and asking him to pick one. Without a second thought, he selects the first option. Looking at his own hands, the MC understands that continuous absorption is one of the methods to raise his proficiency and feels eager to see the result this time. He commands the interface to pull up his personal details, and the panel reveals his military martial arts leveled up to 2. The boy celebrates the discovery that grabbing the same skill over and over can upgrade it directly. Walking excitedly between the gurneys, he figures that if he keeps doing this, he'll be able to hit max level pretty fast. but the joy ends when a red warning pops up stating that soul absorption has entered its 12-hour cooldown again. Facepalming, he admits he completely forgot about that annoying little detail stopping him from spamming the system, with no workaround for the timer. The boy decides to hurry up and finish processing the bodies, then focus on physical training to hone his techniques. Far away from there, the scene cuts to a totally wrecked front line covered in snow. Workers in hazmat suits are picking up the remains of the defeated monsters, while one of them warns the crew to be careful with one creature's broken neck to avoid tearing the body apart. Several heavy-duty trucks wait on the frozen ground taking in loads of alien carcasses. Near one of the vehicles, an employee signals that truck number 1 is already full and clears it for departure. The transport vehicle takes off, bumping along the rough road through the blizzard. In the darkness of the cargo bed, a purple monster's gigantic body starts pulsing with a mysterious energy. The creature's red eye lights up in the dark, revealing the alien beast is still active. Day breaks and the scene returns to the bustling school hallway. Lin Yu shows up gripping a notebook tightly, surrounded by the group of bullies. Zhang Yang, the silver-haired leader of the bullies, leans against the window with an arrogant posture and tells the girl to call Lin Yu out to the courts after school, with a grim look on his face. The boss warns that if the boy doesn't apologize on his knees to his lackey, he won't be walking out of that hallway today. Standing her ground, the girl snaps back indignantly that it was Zhao Lei's fault for attacking first and that her friend did nothing wrong. All bandaged and bruised up, Zhao Lei throws a fit, asking his boss not to listen to the girl, accusing her of being an accomplice to the MC and of laughing when he got beat up. Furious at the blatant lie, she yells that the lackey is just talking nonsense. Out of nowhere, a hand reaches out and violently snatches the notebook from the girl's grasp. One of the goons holds it high up while the girl jumps trying to get it back. Hearing Zhang Yang mock her, asking if she's so nervous because she made notes for the school's trash, the aggressor gives Lin Yu a brutal shove on the shoulder, telling her to behave. Flipping through the pages, the goon mocks the handwritten notes and her useless dedication. With a wicked grin, he mercilessly rips the notebook in half, stating that trash will always be trash, no matter who tries to help. The girl cries out in despair seeing the pieces of paper flying through the air and tries to run to catch them, but is grabbed from behind. Zhao Lei pins her arms back tightly and whispers that this is what happens when someone decides to play the busybody to protect the wrong person. A heavy boot steps on one of the torn pages, and a voice orders them to let the girl go. The boss ignores the order and looks at the crying Lin Yu with disgust, ridiculing the fact that she's shedding tears over a simple notebook. Getting right in her face, Zhang Yang claims that pleasing him has way more value than hanging out with losers. Filled with hatred, the girl sinks her teeth into the bully's hand and tells him to get out of her face. Feeling the pain of the bite, the boss backhands the girl right across the face, calling her an ungrateful brat. Getting a front row seat to the scene, Zhao Lei cheers the assault and eggs the boss on, saying her attitude was total disrespect. Holding her red cheek, Lin Yu wails out loud that she spent half a month preparing those notes to help her friend. In a burst of desperation, she breaks free and tries to reach the goon who is still holding the rest of the notebook. Watching her pointless resistance, the leader coldly comments that she simply doesn't know what's good for her. Without an ounce of remorse, Zhang Yang grabs the girl's pink hair and violently yanks it back. He rubs the vitality gap between them in her face, bragging about being the strongest and fastest in the entire school. Making any escape attempt a waste of time. Letting go of her locks, he decides that since the girl likes physical contact so much, he's going to teach her an unforgettable lesson. Turning his back, the boss orders his 3 goons to beat her up at the same time and guarantees he'll take the heat if they break any of her bones. The same guy who ripped the notebook steps up with his fist clenched to start the beatdown. But before the punch can land on the girl's face, a firm hand intercepts the aggressor's arm in mid-air with a crushing grip. Tightly holding the aggressor's fist, Lin Yu asks if they have no shame ganging up 4-on-1 against a girl. Down on the floor, Lin Xin tries to calm the situation and asks her friend not to clash with the gang, but the MC ignores the warning and twists the goon's arm behind his back, making the guy scream in pain. Right then, Zhang Yang walks over with his hands in his pockets, mockingly pointing out that the boy finally showed up and saved them the trouble of looking for him. At that moment, the torn pieces of the notes are tossed on the floor without the slightest respect. Staring at the shredded papers, Lin Yu states he'll just brush that off as wild dogs biting and tearing things up. Irritated by his nerve, the leader retorts, saying trash usually talks a lot of garbage. Without warning, he steps in and throws a heavy punch. However, Lin Yu catches the strike with his palm, getting pushed back a bit while warning that he will never forgive the group for hitting his friend. With a strong push, he repels the attack, making the leader slide backward down the hallway, radiating an intimidating energy. The MC firmly declares he is going to pay back double all the humiliation the girl suffered. The goons are shocked by the scene, not believing the boy had the guts to face off against their boss right after beating up Zhao Lei the day before. Completely wrapped in bandages, the lackey desperately yells for Zhang Yang to beat the boy senseless. The leader stands up, exuding his vitality energy, and finds the situation interesting, wondering how he never noticed the boy had so much courage. Deciding that taking him down right there would be way too easy. Putting his hand in his pocket, he proposes that the two face off in 3 days in a public duel at the central training grounds, holding out a printed form. The bully promises that if he's defeated, he will apologize, pay compensation, and guarantee he'll never cause trouble again. The paper reveals itself to be the Academy's official duel form, but the bet carries a heavy consequence if the challenger loses. Staring the boy down up close, the boss decrees that a loss will result in Lin Yu kneeling in front of the whole school, admitting he's trash and dropping out on his own. The gang comments in surprise about the weight of a public duel. Realizing the leader's real intention is to completely ruin the MC's life because of his arrogance, desperate, Lin Xin grabs her friend's arm and begs him not to accept, reminding him that his sister still needs care at the hospital. She tries to talk some sense into him, warning him that the vitality gap is insane, since Zhang Yang has a score of 3.5 while his doesn't even reach one. Seizing on his hesitation, Zhao Lei mocks him again, suggesting that if the trash is scared, he just needs to kneel down and beg for mercy to avoid a beating. Then, Lin Yu firmly takes the paper and accepts the challenge, setting just one condition to move forward. Leaning on the windowsill, he demands the entire fight be recorded and broadcast to the public, and with a quick stroke, the MC signs his name on the challenger's line. He hands the document back, guaranteeing that in 3 days, he'll make a point of showing everyone the truth once and for all. The gang leader takes the paper with the smirk of someone who's already won the bet. Turning his back to leave, Lin Yu finishes his warning, making it clear that everyone will see who really belongs in the trash can. Late afternoon falls over the city, showing the smoking chimneys of the massive crematorium complex. In the facility's hallways, the MC walks side by side with Manager Wang and another security guard. Focused on his goal, the boy knows he has to take advantage of these 3 days to refine his military martial arts or absorb new skills. Winning this fight has become his only option. Walking down the hallway right behind, Manager Wang explains that today's load was sent to them because the main unit couldn't handle processing everything. Curious, the boy looks over his shoulder and asks if the other crematorium wasn't focused strictly on more dangerous alien beast carcasses. Laughing it off, the boss brags that this rerouting of bodies only proves his management's competence, and praises Lin Yu for having the highest vitality among the rookies, promising to reward him handsomely. Impatient with the chatter, the other guard interrupts, telling the boy to stop dawdling in the hall and get back to work if he wants to get paid. Lin Yu agrees to go immediately, finding it funny how that old guy's attitude switches up from 1 minute to the next. The heavy metal door to the processing room slides open, clearing the way. Inside room 7, the grumpy worker pushes a cart holding a purple monster's carcass, grumbling about having to work overtime because of that sudden influx of beasts. Suddenly, a fast motion cuts through the air. The worker's chest is slashed by surprise, leaving him in total shock. Rising from the shadows right behind him, a gigantic, corrupted monster reveals itself to be active. Blood splatters on the wall while an agonizing scream echoes out into the hallway. Standing in front of room 6, Lin Yu hesitates upon hearing the noise, suspecting someone just screamed in pain. But as silence takes over the area once again, he figures it was just his imagination, and decides to go on with his duties. Stepping into his workroom, he finds several purple carcasses piled up and realizes the day's batch is entirely made up of alien monsters. The boy is bummed out that he won't be able to absorb new martial techniques without soldier bodies, but acknowledges that the lack of human casualties at the border is excellent news. However, looking at one of the creature's tails, he finds the skin tone odd. The scales begin to change color in real time, actively undergoing a camouflage process. Intrigued, the MC tries to understand why the texture is shifting like that. Without warning, the carcass springs to life and lunges forward with its jaws wide open in a fierce attack. Lin Yu's eyes widen as he realizes the imminent danger. Using his enhanced reflexes, he quickly leaps back and evades the strike. The beast lands on the floor and gears up for its next move. In the blink of an eye, the creature vanishes from the boy's sight, leaving him stunned. He dodges a tail whip that comes out of nowhere, deducing the creature didn't hide inside a body, but rather camouflaged itself as dead tissue. It quickly becomes clear that this is how those monsters managed to infiltrate the facility undetected. Dropping into a combat stance, he concludes that if he doesn't step in right now, that place is going to turn into a total nightmare. To deal with the enemy's invisibility, the MC closes his eyes and focuses entirely on his senses, trusting the intuition of his military martial arts to find the perfect opening. The silence in the room is broken only by faint shuffling noises giving away the predator's position. His eyes snap open at the exact second he spots the invisible presence. His hand firmly grips the handle of the crematorium work tool. In a fluid motion, he spins his body and lands a heavy blow against thin air. The blade hits the camouflaged creature, forcing the monster to back off while the boy tells it to show itself. The alien beast is pushed back, letting out an enraged roar, giving it no chance to recover. Lin Yu activates his mutant claw and brutally slashes his enemy. Black blood splatters all over the floor, and he immediately worries that he might end up getting corrupted by the substance. Assessing the condition of his own arm, the boy breathes a sigh of relief, seeing that his level 2 martial techniques helped him anticipate the attack, resulting in just a shallow scratch. Just then, the loudspeakers trigger an emergency alert ordering immediate evacuation to the safe room, announcing that stealth beasts have invaded several sectors of the building. Acting fast, the boy sprints out the door toward the lit hallway. He notices the path seems clear of any supernatural skills and pushes forward without hesitating. However, a grim memory makes him freeze. He finally realizes that the muffled scream he heard earlier was the grumpy worker getting attacked in room 7. Running down the facility's hallways, the MC tries to calculate the gravity of the situation and exactly how many of those monsters managed to sneak in. Turning the corner to the main hall, he runs into total chaos, witnessing the workers running for their lives as a horde of beasts attacks mercilessly. Throwing his tool with force, Lin Yu decides to step in, figuring that saving the manager's life is more important right now. The item hits the purple monster square in the face, making blood splatter and stopping the attack on the man. With the opening created, Manager Wang reaches the safe room door and yells for the others to hurry up and get inside. Down the lit hallway, the employees desperately flee toward the refuge, while 2 huge alien beasts chase closely behind. The MC evaluates the situation while running alongside the group, concluding he's not confident enough to take on so many monsters at once, and that the smartest move is getting to the safe zone to call for rescue. But as soon as he approaches the entrance, the boss gives him a brutal shove to the chest, ordering the boy to cover their retreat. Rushing straight into safety, the manager states with pure disgust that acting as bait is the only use for a loser like him. Thrown off balance by the shove, Lin Yu falls backward while one of the creatures lunges with its teeth bared, making him curse them all out as scumbags. He quickly braces himself on the floor to dodge the strike, realizing that with that beast's aura camouflage, any tiny distraction could be fatal. Inside, the manager orders the guards to forget about the trash outside and desperately yells for them to close the door as fast as possible. Shocked by the cowardly betrayal, the boy's eyes widen as he begs them to wait just 1 minute. But the heavy metal door slams shut with a bang right in his face, cutting off his shout and leaving him locked outside with the monsters.